How do you make a simple wooden birdhouse look like it's been standing for centuries? Weathered stone, deep cracks, moss creeping through the crevices. What if we could bring this ancient relic to life? So stick around to the end and see just how simple it really is. Now, the first thing we did was pull off all of the little pieces of wood around the windows there so we can have a flat surface to work on and check the scale. Now to get that, I used the scientific method of using a mini and just putting it next to the build just to get an idea for what it looked about right. Now to ensure that I got all of my bricks straight all the way through this project, I made sure to really take my time with this bottom layer to make sure that they're all level, straight, and flush against the bottom of the build. So it became a matter of just gluing hundreds and hundreds of bricks onto there into the shape and pattern that we were looking for. Now I want to take a quick moment to share something I've been working on. It's a passion project, part of a homebrew D&D campaign I'm writing, deeply rooted in Celtic mythology. My goal is to create a world that's not only rich in the story, but also completely free and accessible for new DMs and players. I'm building resources to make the game easier to get into and more immersive to play. If that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of or help shape as it grows, come join us over on Discord. I'd love to build this together with you. Link is in the description down below for that. And without further ado, welcome to Insalam, a wild ancient land shaped by the whispers of nature and the will of the old gods. Towering forests stretch across the island's heart, concealing forgotten strongholds and sacred groves. Here the world breathes with magic. Living stone, talking trees, and creatures born of myth still walk the shadows. If the world sparks your imagination, come be a part of it and join the Discord. Explore the lore and help shape the future of Insalam. And if you have any other suggestions for resources that would help your game, please let me know down below what those are. Now I have actually created a free resource for all of the game masters who are interested as a way to quickly come up with some randomly generated NPCs based on some dice rolls that goes from names, personality traits, and more. So if that's something that you'd be interested in getting a hold of, you can find a link to that for free down below. Also, if you're looking to expand any of your crafting supplies and resources, be sure to use the links down below to get those. Now at this point in the video, I'm just working on getting some popsicle sticks roughed up to do the roof with. So I'll be taking my utility knife and carefully slicing out gaps and brushing away all of the excess debris to get a nice rough and textured wooden plank. Now, getting all the roofing in place was pretty straightforward and simple. All I did was take this first one here and mark a line on there where the end of the roof was. And then from there, all I did was glue it in place and start taking these scrap pieces off of each of these trimmings. And that was where I started the next plank, so that we could have a nice staggered pattern that went all the way through the roof and kind of gave it like a brick-like placement, but just kind of help break up some of the straight lines by adding a little bit more detail in there. Now to go around the chimney was actually really straightforward. All I did was take my pencil and mark out how far down that chimney would go, and then also how far in it would go from the other side. Then once I had all that marked out, it was just a matter of cutting it out with the utility knife very carefully so I didn't snap off anything or cut off too much. And then just putting that back up there just to make sure it fit okay, trimming off any extra bits of wood there on the end, and gluing it in place. And here we are once all of those have been put into place, and I've also put the trim around the roof to help also cover up the gaps where the bricks didn't quite line up perfectly with that angle, but it all ties together very nicely. From here, all I do is fill in the door and the windows by adding just a little bit of wood trim there just to kind of help tie the elements together. At this point in the build, I was probably about 20 hours into it and ready to see this project completed. So it was getting very exciting just to see all of this come together and really start to take shape. And then once all we had that done, just take the aluminum foil ball just to add a little bit more texture into all these bricks to make them look a little rougher and a little bit more like stone. The more detail you have here, the better the paint and different layers will come through later. So, once all that was done, we just take some Mod-Podge and put a heavy coat onto this entire project so that we can prime it safely and also add a nice layer of durability to this build. I did end up doing, I believe, 3 coats of Mod-Podge over this build just to ensure we had good full coverage and everything was sealed together nicely. So for the actual paint job here, we started by just sponging on a red base coat. This might seem a little bit odd, but trust me, real stone has hidden warmth. So we'll be sure to let that dry. And then we will go in with the yellow using the same sponging technique. This will add variation, making the final result feel a lot more natural. And you'll see here towards the end, I will show it with more of the colors up closer once it's all done so you can see that warmth coming through. Now start overbrushing with a dark gray. Then you're going to work your way up to lighter grays, applying less and less with each layer. And we're going to finish with a touch of white just to highlight the edges and really drive up that contrast. This layering will add a nice authentic stone texture to it. So once all that's done, we're going to take some black and nutmeg and we're going to create a wash for that. So the wash is really tied all together nicely. A dark wash will seep into the cracks and will have a touch of brown that adds a nice weathered and dirty look to it. And this will really drive up that realism. Now you'll also notice that I will take some extra wash and lay it around the bottom, just where water might seep up and add some nice weathering towards the base of the structure. And here's a close-up of all of that paint job once it's done. Now Stephen was asking about how much the red and yellow really do to it. And I just want to make sure I got a good shot of it up close so you can actually see the warmth and color coming through on there. Now for the roof, I decided to switch over to burnt umber for that base coat because the nutmeg was a little bit too light for what I was going for. So thankfully using that nutmeg as a good base coat, it provided a very nice surface to paint off of, and I only had to really use one coat to get that done. So once that was dry, I did take that nutmeg back and we did some dry brushing over that just to add some of the highlights and pull out that grain detail. So to ensure that I didn't just paint the whole thing nutmeg, I just made sure I dabbed off all the excess paint, so I was only using a little bit of pigment on the brush at a time. So you'll see that adds some nice highlights and it gives you some nice variation on the roof. Now once all that is done, I will go ahead and just take that same wash I used on the bricks and I will apply that all over the roof as well, and that'll sink down in the cracks really well and really drive up that contrast by darkening all the deep spots. Now at this point, if you wanted to, once this had dried, you could go back over there with the nutmeg again just to really drive up those highlights again and really push that contrast even further. But I really like the dark look to mine, so I usually stick with just that. But if that is something you want to try, you could totally experiment with that and use multiple layers to get back to whatever look you're after. Finally, after all that was done, all I had left to do was the moss. So to do that, I just took some of my Elmer's glue and some of the blended turf fine flocking and made a nice paste of that before carefully applying that to the different cracks or ledges. I also use this to hide any mistakes I might have made, any kind of overbrushing onto the bricks or wood where the colors aren't lapped up properly. So you can use this to hide a lot of minor mistakes. But this also adds a nice little bit of weathering and history and a nice color variation to throw some greens in there along with all of the warm colors. And once that had dried, I had my birdhouse transformed into a nice stone castle complete. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more, and be sure to check out my other videos for more inspiration and tips.